Hello everybody and welcome to another round of the Jack Ashton Racing and Coaching and the Novice Racing League Ferrari Challenge here this season. It is time for round 5 as we head into the second half of our season now and head towards that final race at Thruxton on the 10th of August. We've got a very interesting championship situation to come here from the pros and the AMs, where it is still all very much up in the air. It's myself, Ewan, and James Parfitt bringing you the action here tonight this afternoon from Road America. And as you can see, Tommy Patero is currently leading the way. I'll have to tell you who's pro and am, but I can tell you the top 8, all in the pro class, all with more than 100 points as well. Tommy Patero leads Matt Warner by 26. Andy Pratt another 17 back, and then it gets very close. Alistair Clark only another point back ahead of Ian Knox. Tom Weston, George Metacross, Nicholas Green only a point apart, those three. And then you get Eric Orchin, who's the leader in the AM class, ahead of Parker Enquiries, only 14 back. Reece Bartlett and Jeroen Wolf are 3rd and 4th in the AM class before you start to get to those other pros who are a bit further down and haven't been at quite as many rounds so far this season. Right the way down to David Wang, indeed, who's in 22nd position. It's good to be back, James, on this series once again. After the Bend Motorsports Park, which we had 1 week ago, we've come to a more conventional racetrack now, one that these drivers are all going to know. And I couldn't help but notice that Jack Ashton's back on the grid here today.
Yeah, he messaged me saying him and Mark Calver are basically going to join in and race. Now, they did talk about going into their own class, Super Pro, being that Mark's 9k in iRacing and Jack's 5.5 at the same time. So, you know, although they're there, we could disregard the fact that they are there as such, because I don't know how many rounds they're going to be doing, but we are in qualifying at the moment. Benji's in YouTube. Hey JP, remind Nick off the start to be in first gear, please, not reverse like Silverstone. Okay, mate. Well, hopefully he'll know that, because I have no direct line access to him. So I'm hoping that would be the case, and I'm sure if he is listening, he will make sure he is. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. I'm going to see how Tommy's going to keep up with the guys, with Mark, with Jack, seeing if he's going to be able to hang with the big boys as well. As I say, they are here. They are taking part, but we can kind of disregard them a little bit out of the championship.
Yeah, a little bit. That also is sort of letting me know that even happened, because I wasn't here on that round at Silverstone. I'm presuming that's from this series that he managed that. That's very impressive as well, by the way, to set off in the wrong direction. I mean,
it's not the first time we've seen him, Mr. O'Leary, and I'm sure it won't be the last. No! We've seen people go backwards all the time.
Well, not as the lights are going out. That's a new level of.
Go on. I know what word you want to use, but you're just too afraid to use it.
What was I going to say?
Another level of stupidity.
Oh no, I wasn't going to say that. No.
Oh, okay. Okay, I did. So there we go. Nick, you plonker. Go the right way. So there we go. On that one, but that was from round 3 as well, back on the 6th of July, before we went to the Bend last week out as well. So yeah, hopefully everybody should be going in the right direction. I'm going to be interested to see how this one goes, you know. Road America, everybody should know this circuit. Okay, they should generally, don't they? They've raced, you know, plenty of times people have raced in it and hopefully have raced here in different endurance and whatever else. So I'm looking forward to seeing how they go. I am going to be interested to see how much pace Patero's got and what the situation is with Carver and Ashton. But yeah, and where is Matt Warner going to be in all of this situation?
Yeah, exactly. He's actually not completed his lap times just for the moment. He's continuing on, 2:04.0 his current best, and he's doing a couple of personal best sectors as well through the first couple. He's most likely to improve as Nick Green comes up towards the line now. After 3 personal best sectors through the middle of this lap, is that any quicker for him? Doesn't look like it, I don't think. Well, maybe it is actually. He might move up a place. There you go, up to 7th, but still not ahead of Stephen Led, as we go on board now with Warner, keeping it tight to the right-hand side there through the carousel. This is the corner, by the way, that I'd imagine in these cars is really most annoying, because especially at that sort of medium speed, these cars seem to have no turning, really. Sorry, not turning, but sort of mid-corner grip. There's very little of it at the front end. It seems like they just understeer away. So the carousel, a real nightmare corner for that kind of car. And this is one of those cars, unfortunately. So a lot of patience required around the carousel.
Yeah, they're going to be. They're going to have to play on the throttle, a lot of feathering to make sure that they can get it round without having any dramas, of course. That would always be handy from these guys. Matt Warner at the moment, though, got greens on the board currently, running up that long old start-finish straight, which is longer than my high street. Let's put it that way. He's going to go up over the hill, over the line. What's he going to get on the board here? Is Matt Warner going to improve over Ian Knox? Is this going to be a 2:03? Well, it is a 2:03, 2:99. It puts himself in third place.
Very nice time. Calver, though, with a better time there. A 2:02.4 is very, very quick compared to everybody else, really. That looks like it's just about the end of qualifying. The session going on a little bit deeper into the minutes this time round because the track's a little bit longer. Though we had that at the bend as well. I haven't had too many short tracks this season, in fairness. We'll get back to that a little bit with the Thruxton round at the very end of the season. That's where lap times are going to be only just about a minute in length. And that means that... yeah, the 2 flying laps will be completed very, very quickly. 2 20-minute races to come then, with that little bit of a break in between as well, and a full reverse grid for the second race. So we look forward to that as we draw to the end of qualifying. And there's Eric Orchin parked on the front straight. He's second in the AM class after that qualifying session there, and that is good to help his championship chances along as he conserves his 14-point lead that he currently holds over the rest of the field. Let's have a look at the starting grid then, ready for this round, and it's Mark Calver who takes the pole by nearly 8 tenths in front of Tommy Patero. Matt Warner and Ian Knox on row 2 ahead of Andy Pratt, and then Stephen Laird on the pole in the AMs. Nick Green and Eric Orchin are on row 4 ahead of Jeroen Wolf and Garrett Kinney, who round out the top 10 as they round out row 5. Bruce Bartlett and Timothy Wybo are on row 6 ahead of Parker Enquist, who might be disappointed with that, in 13th place. Jack Aston's decided to start from the back, and Alistair Clark is with him. So they'll all line up on the front straight and get ready for that very, very long run down towards turn 1. And it is a long run as well.
Yeah, and it is. And don't get a standing start by the looks of it again. So this is going to be an interesting one to see how these guys get these off the line and ready to go. Down into turn 1. Who's going to come out on top? Is Patero going to be able to get past Calver?
Warner is still the one we're waiting on at the moment. Same for Nick Green, who are just... not getting onto the grid for the moment. Someone's revving their engine about. There's another series I do, by the way, where everybody gets on the grid as quickly as they possibly can and then revs their engine as much as possible. And we've never understood why. But
are
anyway,
they trying to use fuel? Is it a fixed leak?
Yeah, yes, yeah. It must be so minute, the amount of gain they get. Why would you risk blowing your engine doing that? Anyway, it's over now because the lights are going to come on. They're going to rev their engines for real in a moment as the lights come on here from Road America. Time for racing again here at round number 5. Oh, and it's a good start from Patero. Look at the launch he's got off the line. Mark Calver there went nowhere, and Patero went flying on the outside line. He goes through into the lead of this race. Ian Knox going to try and come through on Calver as well. The posters are down to 3rd. Look at that, down the inside. Ian Knox goes through. He'll go for the cutback here, Calver, but that's not going to be much use. It's a bad start for the pole sitter, and Tommy Patero leads again.
Yeah, Tommy Patero got the jump at the beginning. Calver just didn't go anywhere, literally nowhere. And now he's stuck down in behind Knox.
Oh.
A bit of collision at the back. That's Green going off at the same time. I think that's Green and Jeroen Wolf both entering off the side of the circuit. Calver's now running alongside Knox. Down into turn 5 at the moment for Calver. He's gonna take that position away from Knox. Knox opens the door and away goes Calver. Calver now trying to chase after Patero. Reese Bartlett, Parker Inquist side by side. Stephen Laird still leading the AMs at the moment here on this first opening lap, but it's somebody without a front end.
Enquist.
Ooh. Yeah.
This is Parker Enquist who's not got a front end. We'll have a look back in a moment when it just settles down at that first lap incident, but I think he's been involved in that somewhere. Nicholas Green and Jeroen Wolf, as you say, were both involved as that's down the inside for Jack Aston. He's trying to come through the field, of course, after starting from the back of the field purposely. And so up to 9th already for him. That's 6th place he's gained, but look at the speed he's got. In fairness, Enquist has not got a front end, and that's not helping him. But look at this, off the circuit. Garrett Kinney trying to go around the outside of the carousel. That's exactly what I'm talking about with the understeer. He's just understeered straight off the circuit.
Yeah, does, unfortunately for him. But Patero now has got Calver closing in. This is on the run through the right-hander now. Is this going to be able to get... How long is Patero going to be able to hold this? He's got to come out of turn 14, and he's instantly got to go on the defense. That's the problem for Patero. He needs to come out of here and just go right and try and make sure that Calver doesn't get any form of run on him whatsoever, because if he does, it's going to be, there you go, Patero straight into the middle of the circuit. He's now hugging that white line harder than his favourite grandma at the moment. He knows he cannot open up that door. Drifts back, ready to get back into the racing line again. He's given that inside line open to Calver at the moment. Calver's now got to make a decision. Does he go? No, he settles back in behind him. So action, great action taking place, and Mr. Ashton is just about to clear Mr. Bartlett.
There he goes, through on the inside line into 8th place now for Jack Ashton. But that's a good run from Mark Calver, very good run coming out of turn 3. He's going to get into the slipstream of Tommy Patero here, and he's going to have a big chance down the inside maybe, or is it outside? It's going to have to be. Tommy Patero protecting that inside line well down in towards turn 5, and he's going to keep the position as well ahead of Mark Calver down there. Calver goes for the cutback inside at turn 6 if he can have it. Patero chases him across the road. He's still alongside, and that's all he needs, just a little bit of an overlap, and that's what he's got as well. Inside line for the next corner, turns it to the outside for this turn 7. Here he goes, right round the fast right-hander, and he's got the position as well. He's had Patero going every which way, defending, he's had him everywhere, but now Mark Calver takes the lead, and surely he's going to go on and assert his dominance now in this race.
Yeah, and the problem with that is Calver was dictating where Patero was. He was using Patero every bit of the way. Patero had no control over that situation. Normally, we like to see the leader control the situation, and he didn't have any control. Calver sent him on the wrong line in through 5. He then ran him a little bit wide out of 6. Then it was the outside of 7. Calver was in full control of that situation. Patero had none whatsoever. So a great job from Calver there and Patero for not coming together. Matty Warner closing down on Mr. Pratt. Mr. Ashton is up behind all the at the moment.
Yeah, he's about second behind that battle for the AM lead at the moment that you can see. Watching that championship leader in the AM class. He'll be gaining points, a lot of them as well, over Parker Enquist at the moment because of the front end that's missing on that Ferrari now at the back end of the field, and that's why he's all the way down in 14th. Down in towards turn 1, Matt Warner not quite close enough to Pratt just for the moment. Further in the background, here comes Alistair Clark through on Reece Bartlett, but no, he's not quite close enough on the way down towards turn number 1, and he doesn't make his way through into 9th position on this occasion. I wonder if we can have a look back, by the way, at what happened at lap 1, because not sure what happened to Parker Enquist to make him lose that front end. And we might find out here with Nicholas Green, who we certainly saw go off the road through turn 3. Oh, he just drops it himself. He spins. And I can see where Enquist has picked up the damage as well, because Jeroen spun also on his own, but he's had that rear wing taken off. Oh, he's already come off. He's already been hit by Enquist, excuse me. So I thought he'd spun and then been hit by Enquist. That's not true. They all avoided Wolf just about, but Enquist is already missing his front end by that point.
I wonder if that was coming down. So just sort of deciphering where this went on. Give it 2 seconds. See if it's right. It's got to be down into turn 1, isn't it? That's the only other place that he did this. It must be.
I mean, the puzzling thing is that I can't really see Wolf anywhere near Enquist at the moment. They all stack up. It's very narrow, this front straight. Enquist goes through the middle, pretty brave. He's late on the brakes, smashes straight out. It's quite unlucky for the two, really. There wasn't a lot of contact, but they've both lost, and they are located in very different parts of the world, so it's probably played a role anyway. As Jack Ashton, meanwhile, goes down the inside of Stephen Laird, the AM leader. And that's Ashton following Pratt through, actually, and surely he'll be overtaking Pratt for a top 5 place in a moment as well.
Yeah, hopefully. But keeping an eye on that top battle in front there of Calver and Patero. It's been teetering around half a second. Now you can see Patero's going to close up because of the draft. He's not going to be close enough going into turn 1. He needs to be about 2.5 tenths, give or take, with these cars. They're not. It's really hard to explain, but they have aerodynamic. They have draft. but it isn't like open wheel standard. Do you know what I mean? It is there, but they've got to be 2 tenths back to try and make space. And by what I mean is, if you have a look now at Jack, he's basically about that mark, 2 tenths back on the car in front of Mr. Pratt, and now you should watch him be able to go through. Any further back than that, they don't really seem to be draft dependent. I'm expecting Jack to come to the right-hand side at the moment. There you go. Goes up the inside line, so he's got to be about 2.5 tenths back, and that seems to be the standard. Open wheelers, you can do half a second, 3 tenths of a second at times, but clearly in these Ferraris, 2.5 tenths, if you're any further back than that, on when you go to a straight, you ain't getting through.
Lots of chaining going on further back. Nick Gray getting past Tim Wybrow, and Rhys Bartlett gets past Garrett Kinney as well. That's further down the back of the pack at the moment, but Jack Ashton has worked his way through up into the top 5, and that's looking like a comfortable place for him now. He'll chase Matt Warner, who again is behind Patero in this race for the championship, and again losing points to him as things stand. Second versus fourth. There is Patero. Patero's got a decent chance of winning this race as well, despite the fact that Mark Calver's here, who I think everyone in this series would admit is a very fast driver, especially compared to this field. But Patero keeping him very honest at the moment. He's becoming a really fast driver, Tony Patero.
Patero's done really well. Massive improvement there as well. Lewis in YouTube chat, busy channel, love the content. Thank you very much for that. As these guys now go on to that straight through turn 14. Patero's a little bit slower. You can see he starts gaining, but this is what I mean. Look at the half-second gap. Now, normally when we see the drive, it comes down rapidly, right? We can sit here and go 5 tenths, 4 tenths, 3 tenths, 2 tenths, 1 tenth is alongside. He's just not going to get there. He needs to be, as I said earlier on, within that 2.5 tenth mark to even try and make an impression. But what he can do is use the draft to try and stay with him. That's the thing. He can use the draft to try and stay with him. And although he's not getting quite close enough, he'll be able to sort of get within that 2.5, maybe 3 tenth mark if he can just stay just in touching distance. It looks like about half a second, 6 tenth. Any further back than that, he might end up losing it, but he does look like he's just managing to stay comfortable as Rhys Bartlett is looking up the inside of Tim Wybrow down into turn 3.
Oh, whoa.
Nope.
That's too late. Way too late. And he's very nearly fired straight off the circuit there. Yeah, very, well, I can almost see that immediately there as he hit the brakes. So nearly went deep. Wybrow goes straight through. See whether Kinney can follow through as well, or whether Bartlett can at least stop himself from losing 2 places. That was, too tight of a line, way too late on the brakes.
Yeah, he went for it, which is fine, I get that. But he just couldn't quite get the car stopped there. Orchard and Clark are having a nice little battle. Again, this is Pro and Am. It's not, all this is doing is holding Orchard up from getting to lead. That's about as much as Clark's doing at the moment, which is great for Led because he's just out in front saying, you guys carry on fighting. Now, look at the front gap. Look at the front gap. Patero's just about, and he's literally hanging on to this from his fingertips at the moment, just about grabbing the draft. After this, I think if he can get 7 to 8 tenths Calver by the time he gets through 14, because it does look like Patero does go a little bit slower than Calver through 14. Well, there you go. Look, you can see it for yourself. 8.5 tenths. Now Patero is gripping to the draft with fingertips.
Yeah, he is, but he has been in this situation before as well. He's been 6 tenths behind before. And, you are a little bit in danger of losing the draft at that distance, but he's recovered this before. And I wouldn't be surprised to see him recover it again here at this battle for the front of the field. Alistair Clark still coming through, by the way, on guys he qualified behind, because he didn't qualify, of course. He's now moving through to 8th place on Eric Orchin. And Eric Orchin stays in front. So don't forget, points are on an overall basis this season. It's not per class like it has been. And so Orchin is well worth his time here to keep Clark behind him, because again, he is ahead of his championship rivals for the most part as well right now. Only Stephen Laird is in front, and of course Laird has not been it all around so far this season. So this is an ideal situation for Eric Orchin, although now he will finally lose some of those points. He's blocking, trying to get in the way of Clark down in towards turn number 5, and he can't quite do it. Clark goes through.
Yeah, there's a change further back as well. Whitebrow is running in a free-car fight with Garrett Kinney and Bartlett here. All these three AMs are having a good old scrap. Whitebrow now, is he going to be able to hold on from... well, it's not it's Garrett Kinney, sorry. No.
Oh, wow.
Bartlett's just gone and out. Oh!
Oh! Whitebrow dropped it on the exit. Oh, that's going to be damage. Oh, it's bad damage as well. That's pretty bad for Whitebrow. He's going to have to try and limp around and get into pit lane here, but oh, look at that. That's pretty significant left hand down. Just almost got overexcited there, dropped it on the power.
Yeah, he did. He made it through. That was the worst thing. He made it through. He saw the mistake from Bartlett, thought, oh, I'm going to get this, slammed the power on, and then that happened. So lesson learned from Whitebrow. If you see somebody go off, just take it easy a little bit. Don't go slamming powers. And that's what he did at the moment. And that, unfortunately, was all she wrote. Now, Matt Warner, goal in life to beat Tommy Patero. How long is he going to hang on and defend for his life from Mr. Ashton?
Well, I think with 3 laps to go, it's going to be pretty difficult to achieve. Oh, sorry, 4 laps to go, sorry. We should still get all 10 laps in. We should do for race number 2 as well, as Ashton gets down on the brakes for turn 1. He has a look on Warner here on the way down to 3, but not close enough on the way down here. What about on the exit? Needs a good run here. Just smoothly get the power on, and look at that. He's only 2 tenths behind already here. Really tight in the toe now of Matt Warner just up in front of him here. Surely he's going to move through on the inside line, or at least have a look down here. A bit of defence for Warner, not really, and well, he's just going to give that one up in the end. Jack Ashton goes through. Warner feels maybe that there's too long to go to try and defend, or is he going to go for the cutback instead? No, not quite. He decides to stay behind.
Oh, Matty Warner. Dude, he rolled over like my little dachshund, wanted his belly tickled, didn't he? He didn't put up any defence going into 5. He had the chance to send it up the inside of 6, and he didn't do that either. And, well, that was it, unfortunately. I would have thought he would have got his gloves on and, you know, given it a bit more of his inner Mike Tyson. Instead, we seem to have, unfortunately, we got a little bit of Dubois instead. What? That's a great analogy.
Well, it is for someone who understands, so hopefully that makes sense to somebody. There is...
yeah, that's a problem. If you don't understand it, you're in trouble.
No, I know, yeah, I don't really have any interest in boxing, to be honest. Bartlett, meanwhile, on the back of Garrett Kinney for 11th position. So it's going to be the only real battle towards the finish here, because, as you mentioned before, Patero is just slipping away from Mark Calvin now. Ashton should get away from Matt Warner as well. Clark might catch up to Laird, actually, but yeah, these two will be the ones battling primarily. And of course, there'll be a big feature of race number 2 as they start on the second row, if it ends as it is, or at least Bartlett will.
Do you know what? Although I sit back and I love reverse grids, when you kind of do a full reverse, blinking Nora doesn't get scary, especially for us. Up here we've got, you'll have Calvo, Patero, Knox, Ashton, Warner, Pratt all coming through on poor old Jerome Wolf, Enquiries, Whitebrow and Bartlett. Oh dear, it's going to be a scary moment for the guys at the front.
And don't forget, Jack Ashton's basically already done it here. He's gained 10 places in this race, decided not to qualify. I think that was a decision of his to not qualify.
I think so.
Certainly Clark, I would suggest, maybe failed to get a lap in. You know, off tracks are never too far away around this circuit, although it's not one of the worst tracks in the world for it. It's certainly possible to grab an off track here and there, and so yeah, I think that's what happened to them. Anyway, they've had to come through the field the normal way, and now it's going to be up to everybody to do it. But the point being that Clark and Ashton and Warner effectively are going to start with the biggest head start over the others. They are going to be at the back with a lot of overtakes to make, but they're at least going to be ahead of the others, and that might be a bit of an advantage. We see constantly in race number 2, it's about which of the fast drivers gets through all of the traffic first, and generally there is enough time for them, even in 20 minutes, for them to actually get to the front. And we do see relatively few surprise winners when there's been a race won like this, where the pros have done rather well as a collective.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's really hard to So I want to say bet against the pros coming through, but I think the problem is if the AMs went into that reverse grid and thought, I am going to go for it, I'm going to defend, but they don't, because they're sensible. They're not like me. They're sensible. They just open the door and allow the pros to go through, and then the pros look like they're making up loads of positions, but they haven't really got to do any active overtaking as such, because as soon as they pull up to the back of an AM, for instance, you know, I can guarantee Jerome Wolf, although he's going to be on pole, by the end of the first lap, he might be down in 7th or 8th, because he's just going to kind of not roll over, but he ain't going to put up much of a fight. You know what I mean? And that's the thing. Although I'd love to see Wolf, Enquiries, Wybrow, Bartlett, you know, defend, chuck it on the apex, make, you know, be a bit slower to jeopardise their exit, do all of these things that keeps the guy behind them. I just don't think they're going
to. Bartlett gets ever closer to Kinney on the way down towards turn number 1 here. He's getting a very good slipstream. Bartlett, and here he goes. He's late on the brakes again, and too late. Oh no, he's put it up in time for the circuit at least. But I thought he was going to go straight off. But Kinney goes straight back through again, and another look from Bartlett down the inside. This is becoming a recurring theme now for Rhys Bartlett, just braking a bit too late.
And you saw the difference between the AM and the pro, right? You saw that moment right there. He had no interest in going for that overtaking free. So why he didn't just go back out onto the racing line, I don't know. Because he's going in again. Oh, bro, you have got to get this stopped. It's just too late. It's not enough pressure to get the car stopped. He doesn't want to 100% brake it, but he kind of almost needs to. He's got the idea, send it, I get that, and you go for it, but he's just not braking hard enough to pull that Ferrari up. He needs to be either earlier on the brakes, or he just needs to be later on the brakes, but more pressure. That's the problem for him at the moment. But again, you know, Bartlett's just got to make sure that if he does make an overtake, it doesn't take him and Kinney out.
It's last lap, by the way, for Calver, he's just beginning his last lap, rather, out here at the front. There he is, a minute and a half away from the finish. But the other thing I'd say, actually, to Rhys Bartlett, actually, in this situation now, if I was his engineer or something, I would say, you know, you don't have to brake as late as you think to make an overtake. I think sometimes you can fall back into the trap, especially at big braking zones down at turn 5. You can think, I've got to brake super late here to get through. And he's just done it again there. Bartlett's gone off the road. He's actually hit the wall now. So not sure what's happened to Bartlett now, but we'll get a replay of it. But down at Canada Corner, I think it's happened again here. You don't have to brake quite as late as you think. And so there he is, late on the brakes. He's gone so late, he's going to hit the wall down here. Oh my word. That is a shame for Rhys Bartlett, who, again, if I was advising him, just say, you know, you don't have to brake quite that late. I know you want to make a move on the brakes, but that doesn't mean you have to outbrake yourself to make it.
Yeah, Jerome Wolf has gone and done something into 5. Oh, bro. Oh, dude. Where are you going? Again, another last of the late breakers. Just couldn't quite make it through. Alistair Clark, Stephen Laird, leaders on his way around Carousel. So we'll keep an eye on him as soon as he comes out the Carousel through King Canada Corner. We'll pick him up on the way through 13. But these guys still having a nice little battle. Of course, Clark in the green, wanting to get past Laird. Laird wanting to hold on to the position as much as he can. Is he going to fight him going down into the left-hander? Yes, kind of. I think that was a mixture of Clark pulling out and Laird just being aware that he's coming through.
Certainly going to race their way into Canada Corner, I would imagine. That will be where Clark makes the move, if indeed he's going to, before the conclusion of this race in a moment. Into the kink they go now. He's in the dirty air and he's off, and that's going to be difficult for Clark now from that distance. Meantime, Mark Calver's coming through the final corner, and he's going to win here at Road America. A good jump into the series here today for Mark Calver, and he will take the checkered flag by nearly 3 seconds over Toby Patero to win here at Road America. Further back, the AM winner, Steve Laird, is still holding on from Alistair Clark, and he is going to... he's got a bit wide.
No.
Might well lose the place on the run to the line, in fact. He's going to win the class, but how many points is he going to get for it? As he gets passed here by Clark, it's going to be a photo finish between the two. Oh, he just holds on. That's impressive, really, because his run out the final corner wasn't very good, but he holds on, and of course he takes the win in the AM class.
Oh, good job there, dude. He held on. I don't know how he held on, but he did hold on, because you say that run out of 14 was poor. really bad, and unfortunately just didn't quite get it. Bartlett's in pit lane at the moment. Wybrail's there, still out on the racetrack, and Parker Enquist, who's hopefully got a full car. Yes, he has. Is going to bring this up to the final place. But yeah, great run. Great job there from Laird as well, because that run out of 14 was really poor.
Yep. He's got away with it though, as Bartlett has tried to serve his meatball by coming into the pit lane on the last lap. I'm not sure how that's going to work for him. He's dropped behind Wybrow anyway, and he might get a penalty. I don't know what happens if you end the race with the meatball. Do you just
get a 40-second penalty?
Oh dear, okay.
Think.
It would make sense. So expect him to drop to 14th. Although Jeroen Wolf didn't finish on the lead lap, so he won't be passed by him. Anyway, he'll be one to watch in race number 2. Mark Carver, though, wins race 1 here from Road America with Tony Patero just in behind. It's Ian Knox who rounds off the podium. Didn't see any of him, actually, in that race. Wasn't around anybody, but gets a podium. Ahead of then Jack Ashton. Then Matt Warner, who, of course, Ashton passed relatively late on. Andy Pratt then next head of Stephen Laird, the AM winner, just getting in front of Alistair Clark. Orchin was second in the AM class, followed by Nick Green. Garrett Kinney, the first driver outside the top 10 on the podium in the AMs, headed Timothy Wybrow. Parker Enquist, Reece Bartlett, who, as you say, did get that 40-second penalty. And Jeroen Wolf, who was the only driver one lap down at the end of that one. So, pretty much everybody getting to the finish. And that sets us up well for the reverse grid race coming up in a moment's time, when the full grid will be turned on its head in time for race 2.
Yeah, that's the coup de grace, I suppose, isn't it? That's the moment when we realise, oh, dude, where are you going? Who's going to be the... you ain't going to get that stop from there. Who's going to be the pro that's going to put up the fight? Or have we got somebody who's just going to sort of let them go through? I think that's going to be the question.
Let's wait and see. Yes, as they just make their way around, 3.5 minutes to go. In terms of the two championship races, it's certainly becoming an easier, smoother path now to the title for both Tommy Patero and Eric Orchin. 26 points was the gap for Matt Warner rather coming into today, and the way that it worked with Jack actually coming through the field as well meant that Jack Ashton got past Warner but didn't get anywhere near Patero, so again taking points off of Warner but not Patero on that occasion. Warner's got to start making use of these reverse grid races where he starts the race in front of Patero. He's got to keep him behind so that he can start to regain some of those points, because it's turning into a very big gap with not very many races left.
Yeah, I do wonder whether or not I might have to try and do some investigatory work here, because I'm wondering if Jack and Mark are taking points.
I don't see why they wouldn't be, really.
I don't know. Leave it with me. I'm on a bit of an investigatory thing. Because they're only flying in, are they going to then take points away from the people? I don't know.
Well, normally in series that you have drivers who don't take championship points, it doesn't actually promote the others anyway. So it just doesn't get added to their overall score in the overall standings. And to be fair, Jack is not on the standings this season, or is that just because he's not done a round this season?
Well, he hasn't done a round.
Yeah, I thought so. I know he has been here recently, but it must have been the season before that I'm thinking about. So yeah, he's only here for the first time today. As I say though, even if they don't take championship points, oftentimes, I mean, it's the same. Oh dear, there's some proper racing going on in warm-up here. You see it in NASCAR, don't you, that there's non-championship cars that race, but that doesn't promote all the guys they finish ahead of. It just means that they don't get any score and they're never in the championship standings.
Yeah, I get that. It just, I don't really know. I'm gonna find out. Ooh, take care. I'll try and find out if they are doing anything. If what the situation, I don't know, to be honest with you. And I think we're just barking up a tree and hoping that, we're going to find the answer, and don't really know what the answer's going to be, to be honest.
No. And in any case, even if it's not added to the overall, if they're not in the overall standings, but nevertheless they take points away from Warner, it kind of doesn't really matter whether they're added to the championship standings or whether they're not, because the fact is that Warner's lost more points to Patero than he might have otherwise done. I'm not saying that's unfair. I think that is actually the fair way to do it. I don't like the series that sort of let people race but don't let them in the championship standings. I kind of think, well, what's the point of them racing then? But anyway, we'll wait and see, because as you say, they have just flown in for this race instead. But maybe we'll see them in the future as well. I mean, the Hungaroring's going to be a wet race next week. Maybe we'll see them out again next week for that.
Not a lover of the Hungaroring. It's not an exciting circuit for me. And you either get great racing or you just get meh. Just saying. Like you and Sebring, Mr. O'Leary.
Well, yeah, fair enough. I still think the rain is going to spice things up for that race, in particular next week. But we'll have to wait and find out, of course, when we're live, same time, same place as always, with the next round of this series. But anyway, let's get to the starting grid, ready for race number 2 tonight. It's going to be Yerovov who starts on the front ahead of Reece Bartlett, with Parker Enquist and Tim Wybrow on row 2. Then Garrett Kinney with the first of the pros next, Nicholas Green, Eric Orchin and Alistair Clark are on row 4, ahead of Stephen Laird and Andy Pratt, rounding out the top 10. Matt Warner and Jack Ashton, who share row 6, with Ian Knox, Troy Patera and Mark Calvary, who finished on the podium at the last one, now on the start for this one as well. Looks like the drivers have been pretty eager to get themselves onto the grid, and they're already pretty much all there. We'll see when these lights come on and when we go out, because Patero is just holding us up for a moment, and now he will get himself onto the grid and ready to go for another 20 minutes here from Road America. Lights go out and we are racing again. Oh, what a start that is for Parker Enquist, who's got nowhere to go. Absolutely nowhere. Off in the background, Tommy Patero gets off to a good start as well, but he only goes in the grass. Jack Ashton trying to come through the middle of a 3-wide moment down in the pack there, and he's going to get through. Oh no, there's carnage! Carnage in towards turn number 1. He's been taken out by the race leader, Reece Bartlett, off the road as well. It's absolute chaos down here. There's been someone who's gone across the inside of the circuit there after contact down towards turn 1. And only very, very few have survived.
That was Reece Bartlett coming in what can only be described as an absolute banshee. Yeah, watch on that outside line. I believe it is him. Goes on, misses his braking point, goes on the grass, comes through the field. Bang. There he goes, and then Calver's off, then Green's off. There's a lot of people involved in that. Clark, Kinney, Enquist, Bartlett, Orchin, Laird, all involved at the same time. Ian Knox, Laird's back in pit lane. Yeah, there was chaos basically kicking off on that one.
Are you sure it was Bartlett the first one though, who came through on the inside? Because I'm not so sure, I've got to say, that it was him. After all, Bartlett started on the first couple of rows, and that came from, that driver who was there anyway came from a long way back in that replay. So
are you saying it wasn't Bartlett that caused it?
Yeah. Well, I think he was just involved, Bartlett, but I don't think he caused it. I don't think he was that one who came steaming down the inside. Oh! And somebody, well, we'll figure that out in a moment. Let's have another look here. I don't think it was Bartlett, you see, who's on, yeah.
Oh, he did. He hit him.
But I don't understand. That's not, I'm still convinced that's not Bartlett who's coming down the inside. Jack Ashton's into pit lane meantime. Wybrow's the only one with a meatball, if you can believe it.
Yeah, Wybrow just crashed it. He goes round. I wonder if this is where... Oh, he's hit the wall. Oh! And that was Bartlett there.
Not corrected.
Yeah. There is...
Bartlett?
I'm sure it was Bartlett, I think.
He's still going. No, Bartlett's there. See, I'm. Oh, and there's another spin.
That's
It's
Wolf.
your own fault.
Nick Green.
The Ulster and Nick Green has spun in the back. Or is that? No, it is Nick Green who spins in the background. Meantime, Mark Calver is already going to be looking at a podium. Patero's already leading, can you believe it, on lap number 2. This is remarkable. Down the inside for Mark Calver, and through he goes on the inside line there, Calver, on Garrett Kinney. And then Rhys Bartlett is in behind.
Yeah.
So, yeah, a great start for the top 2 in the last race are already both on the podium.
Yeah, Knox has got... Oh, it might be Knox who got
It's
collected.
Ian Knox.
Yeah.
It was Ian Knox who went down the inside.
Knox who got collected there. I don't think it was Knox on that run to turn 1, you know.
I'm now convinced it was Knox.
You're convinced it was?
Absolutely. 100%.
Oh, it was. Oh, I thought it was Bartlett. Sorry, Reese, if you've watched this back.
No, I mean, it just could not have been Bartlett. Bartlett was on the front row. Bartlett was hit. There's Bartlett. He was the biggest victim.
Oh.
Down
Sorry,
towards
Reece.
turn 1. You've just watched a race of him out breaking himself and thought it must be Rhys Bartlett.
Well, I thought it was. Stop it!
Someone missed the breaking point. Has to be.
You throw me under the bus now, Mr. O'Leary. Behave yourself. It's all your fault. It's all your fault. No, I did. And I'm sorry, Reese. If you do watch this back, I do deeply apologise. Please don't DM me. I get it wrong every now and then. But you got to admit, you know, after race number 1, it was kind of surefire that you might have been involved. So there we go.
Well, he was involved, just not the way.
Yeah, not the one that caused the chaos.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh, dear. Never mind. Sorry,
Anyway.
Reese.
Amazingly, that's the amazing thing. He's gotten away without actually much damage here. He's not lost a single bit of bodywork, which on this Ferrari is quite impressive. Does he have? It's maybe he got the very smallest bit of suspension damage, but it's really not much at all here. Let's see whether he straightens up here. I mean, he's a tiny
Slightly.
bit right hand down.
Yeah.
But it's so slight, he'd be barely noticing it at the moment. It's the rear right where he was hit pretty hard. And that rear is where, you know, suspension damage is pretty, well, you can't really cope with it. Let's put it that way. He was hit in that rear right, and yeah, well, that's the rear. I'm trying to see if there is any doubt. From this camera angle, it doesn't look like anything. But, oh, hello. Oh, hello. Dear.
Look how
quite
see,
detailed,
this is,
isn't it?
yeah, we can get right in here. Look. There's any
Where's the
damage?
suspension?
Where is it?
To the right, up.
No, oh, hold on. There it is.
There we go. That's fine. I wonder if it bends, if it actually is damaged. Does that bend?
I don't know.
Oh, hello.
Well, it looks all right. Let's go back out and I'll finish playing with that. That was a very detailed inside of a Ferrari. So there we go. But it doesn't allow you can't get close like that, you know. If you're good and you get time to fiddle around while things have settled down a bit after they've punted half the build into the pit lane. Pratt's just lost a place there. That was a bad mistake going through turn 13. And unfortunately, Calver's now gone through, which is horrible for Patero because he could probably do without that happening as well.
No, probably, but he's got 7 laps here and he's got a 2-second head start, so I think he's got a decent chance here. And there's the flash of the lights from Calver there. The mind games begin already. He's already getting on the button there and saying, well, I'm coming after you, and less than 2 seconds is nothing at all. He'll try and get into Patero's head as much as he can, but this would be a great marker of Patero's progress if indeed he can see this gap behind him. Defend it right from this point on, which is 7 laps to go in this 10-lap race, and defend it right the way to the end on someone who is clearly quicker. I don't think there's shame for Patero in admitting that Calver is quicker here today, but it's about whether he can keep him behind. And this would be a great marker of his progress if he is able to keep him behind for such an extended period of time.
Yeah. I don't know. When they get close, that's when I'm going to get excited. I think Patero is going to have enough to have a go, but how long is he going to hold on for? Because what was it last time, like 3 seconds or something? He actually ended up losing by in race 1 there. Knox is probably, or Bartlett is probably hoping that Knox don't repeat turn 1 there as well. But yeah, I don't know if, I don't know. I don't know. I'm just looking at the time. He's coming down 2 tenths pretty much most corners, and it's a little bit scary that he's got that much pace on him.
As Knox just having a look at Bartlett here. These two having already made contact this afternoon. Knox goes straight through this time on the inside line of Bartlett, who flashes the lights as if to say hello again.
Yeah, hello. Do you reckon that's what he's saying?
Probably not.
No.
He might be saying something for a second time, but it won't be hello. Clark and Green are not far behind as well. I think that damage is actually starting to affect Bartlett a little bit more now than what it was initially here. He's still second in the outclass. He's still got a decent chance of winning it as well, because Garrett Kinney's the only one just up in front at the moment. But yeah, this is a struggle at the moment for Bartlett, and those two pros are going to come through pretty quickly here. There goes, oh, he has a look down the inside, Clark. He wasn't really far enough alongside, but now he's going to go through inside line, up over the top of the hill. Clark, it's going to just drag past Bartlett now on the front straight.
Yeah, I don't think Bartlett's got pace in that Ferrari. I think the damage is affecting his overall pace. He's got nothing. Look how quick Knox went past him. Look how quick Knox has motored away from him. So I don't think Bartlett's quite got anything. I think he's losing pace here. Knox is just about to try and go up the inside of Garrett Kinney. Big brave boy. Well done. No drama there for Mr. Knox as he's going to go and drag race down. Watch it, Green. I think he'll clear Bartlett by the time we get down into 5.
Probably, I would imagine. Well, he's a bit far back. Bartlett's got a slipstream from Clark, and Kenny's giving Knox another go here. So there's a couple of surprises. Down towards 5. Oh, quite a tight line for Kenny. Got to be careful with that. But Knox runs through on the outside, and he's going to get the lead. Going to get the lead of the group, I suppose. But 4th place in the race, I mean. Kenny back to 5th. Then Clark, then Bartlett and Green couldn't quite get past, though. He's very close to doing it now. Up towards turn 7, he had a peek to the outside line there. He's going to get an exit there. Skips back to the inside. That's not quite the run he was expecting. Almost had to lift off there as he pulled out of the slipstream. Didn't quite work for him on that occasion. He will now run around the outside of Bartlett. He's trying everywhere, but he can't make it work just for now.
No, I think the problem is Bartlett is drifting out wide, so I would have just let Bartlett drift out wide and take the inside. He doesn't seem to have the rotation. We know he's got slightly right-hand down damage, which is a bit of a surprise, but I do wonder if there's more coming in. Just you're going to lose it anyway, and I do wonder whether or not it's worth him just kind of letting him go. Oh! Clark's in the wall, Kinney's in the wall. Something's gone on in front. There's Kinney. And Clark just went and well, exit stage right here. I do wonder if he's gone across the nose.
Yeah, I think he has, based on what we saw.
Yeah.
Well, he kind of came into him as well, to be fair. He wasn't on the white line. But
is this one of these where we have to use this dodgy camera angle?
I mean,
that might be better.
Kenny's not on the white line there, on the left-hand side.
I think that might be...
It's a wild ride for Clark. You don't normally find that tyre wall down there, by the way, right at the right at that sort of extension there of the gravel trap down at Canada Corner. That's when you know it's been a pretty big crash. Jeroen Wolf, by the way, also returned back to pit lane when we were watching that battle. Wonder if this is part of that, as he brakes too late. He did that in race 1, didn't he? It's a very uneven surface down
that was
there.
weird. It's a bit odd. Yeah, but him, Kinney, and Enquist in pit lane. Excuse me.
Have you ever seen a layout, by the way, the alternative layout of Road America, where instead of going on turn 5, they just go straight on? And if you can look at the track map at the top right-hand side and almost imagine, if you go straight on from turn 5, you come straight away to what I'm going to call a junction, a T-junction. You just turn right through there, and effectively you just create a rectangle for a circuit. It's almost like an oval.
Where do we see that?
I don't know. I've raced on it before. It used to be in other games. Yeah. Not in real life. but yes, it's like a rectangular oval. If you get some slow cars that like slipstream, I reckon Mazda MX-5s around there would be absolutely incredible.
I don't even know if you can select that layout on iRacing, to be honest with you.
Yeah, maybe not. Given the surface we've just seen Jeroen Wolf bobble over like that, I'd suspect it's not selectable because it's a horrific surface by the looks of that.
Yeah, I think if you hit down there at full pace, Mr. Breaker Boyd, I've got a funny feeling air might be a byproduct of missing your braking point down into 5, to be blatantly honest with you. So there we go. But Calver has now got that down to 2 tenths here over Patero. And how long is it going to be?
It's a lot of pressure. 4 laps to go to be under this amount of pressure here is big. But don't forget, this is different to what it was like earlier on in the day where Patero was the one behind trying to put the pressure on Calver. It's a lot easier to keep the track position than it is to try and win it off somebody, especially when that driver is a little bit quicker than you. Outside line towards turn 5. Patero cannot miss any of his braking points between now and the end of this race. If he does, Calver will be smart enough to see it coming and do the cutback. That was smart from Patero that time, though. He nailed the braking zone. He's got that position, or he's kept that position rather in the lead.
Yeah, he's got to take every inside to try and stop Calver, or if he ain't going to make a defense, get on the racing line as quickly as possible and carry as much speed through. Because as soon as he comes off it, and as soon as he's slow, Calver's going to jump on him. That's basically the situation here for Tommy Patero. He is under so much pressure. He's going to be sweating buckets. He's going to be looking to try and hopefully not look in his mirrors too much, but going through the kink now, and it looks like Calver is basically queuing him up here. But Patero, this is where we went in race 1. Patero's got to dictate where Calver goes. He can't let Calver dictate where he goes. He's got to come off the corner. He's got to make the defensive moves. He's got to put Calver where he wants him. Race 1, Calver was just playing with him. He was just literally like a lion playing with his food, because he knew he could dictate where to put Patero. Patero can't afford to do that. He's got to dictate to Calver where he wants him. If he wants him on the outside of 1, hug the white line. If he wants him on the outside of 2, hug the white line. He's got to be in control of this situation.
He's closing in quickly now, though, Calver, and there might not be much Patero can do here. He has a look to the inside, but no, again, Calver's patient coming on to lap number 8. 3 to go, including the one that they're on at the moment. That's a better run as well, in through turn 1. He could have a peek at turn 3, and he's already getting into Patero's head, but that's good defending. Patero just going to the right-hand side to block the corner, and then brings it back to the racing line. Slightly along the lines of breaking the rules, but it's just about okay. Into the next straight, and he's again on the defensive. Can't leave too much space on the inside there open. Calver will go down it, and Patero does indeed defend this time round. He has to. He can't break too late again to repeat the point last lap. Calver's going to get the cutback, but there you go. Patero nails it again, and Calver tried the cutback anyway. Bobbled over the curb on the inside, didn't get anywhere.
Yeah, didn't get nothing there. Unfortunately for him, through into the right-hander now, turn 7. Again, Patero's got to control this situation. He has to, dude. He cannot let Calver dictate. He's got to dictate to him where he wants him, where he's putting him. Through the carousel we go. What's the run out of the kink going to be like? Is Patero going to use that, hopefully that put him on the outside of Canada corner? That's kind of where I would want him. I'd want him on the outside. I've got to give him the long run, because if I'm on the outside, I get the inside from 13, I get the inside from 14, and he's still on the outside of me. So at least there, and he'll have the run into 1 as well. So at the moment, for Patero, if he's not going to put him anywhere, don't stay on the racing line. Go through. Oh, Tommy. A little bit later on the brakes there than he needed to be. In through the left-hander of 13. And this is exactly what Patero's got to be.
This is super close now between the two. He's got to nail absolutely everything, Patero, and he's just a little bit wide of the apex there. I mean, he still hit the curb after all, but just slightly too wide. A flash of the lights there from Patero, as if to say, why didn't you stay in front of me there and give me some slipstream for a bit longer? It's not often you'd hear a pro driver moaning at a lap car for that reason. Here comes Calver. Another look to the inside, but he doesn't seem to like it down at turn number 1. He's sizing up at turn 5 much more, but he has great runs off of turn 1. He might as well have a go at turn 3 if he can. He needs to get alongside Patero though, and he does this time. He doesn't allow Patero to do what he did last lap, but he doesn't also bring it back for the apex in the way that he should. And Calver's got too much work to do, I think, now on this next straight. He's not as close as he was before. Patero already knows that. He's pulled back to the racing line, but he will still feel the need to defend here. It's going to be a big dive from Calver, and Patero again feels the need to defend, but there's no downside to this. Calver breaks late. but again, it's a sharp turn, and he can't go around the outside there.
No, Patero's doing a great job at the moment. He's opening up the steering on exit as well. He's giving Calver, if he's going to send him on the outside line, he's giving Calver something to think about before he puts his accelerator down, because Patero's just letting it drift out a little bit. He's giving him room, but he's kind of just squeezing him just a touch to make sure that he knows that he's there. It's going to be one more lap after this. This is the moment for Patero now. He's got to try and hang on to this. Just rinse, repeat for the next lap, and he could have this in the bag. He is driving out of his skin at the moment for Tommy Patero.
He is driving really, really well. This is a championship winning drive, arguably, as well, because Matt Warner's down in 9th place. Whether he finishes first or second, he'll gain points, but the symbolism of actually winning this by defending from Calver would be absolutely massive here for Tommy Patero, and a real marker of his dominance this season as well, which he's certainly had in the Ferrari Challenge. Into the final corner now, and Tommy Patero has got one more lap here to try and hold on. Mark Calver is just under half a second behind, and actually not quite as close as what he's been on some other occasions. If it comes into the final sector with that sort of a gap, then, well, we know who the winner's going to be, that is for sure. It's going to be not too difficult indeed to hold on for Tommy Patero. Down in towards turn number 1 he goes again here. It's a good gap that he's got right now, but is he going to be able to hold it right the way to the end here? Out of turn 3. Again, Calver not as close as he has been on some other occasions, but he might just be timing his run well now. He might just time this about right as he gets into the slipstream now of Tommy Patero. Less than 2/10 of a second. Patero's not going to give him the inside again here, surely. Calver looks to the outside, and he brakes early. Is Calver giving this one up? Patero makes a mistake for the first time since this battle started, right at the crucial moment here. He's driven so well, Patero, but he's finally opened the door here. Outside line through turn 6. He's got to hold on because he's not going to get this place back if he loses it. Calver around the outside. Oh, it could be heartbreak at the end here for Patero. He loses the lead on the very last lap of the race.
Oh, man. He did so well. One mistake into 5. One mistake from Tommy Patero over the last probably 7 to 8 minutes, and that's the bit that's cost him. Absolutely. Oh, now he's just raggedy. He knows he needs to try and do something, and he's not going to be able to get there. Calver's going to take this one.
Oh, my word. What drama at the end of this race here. Mark Calver's going to win it in the end, and that is a huge, huge shame for Tommy Patero, who drove so well, and in the end he actually wasn't under very much pressure there, into turn 5. That was the least pressure he's been under at that corner for some time, and he's just thrown it away at the end. Mark Calver, though, comes around the final corner, and he's going to win here, back-to-back at Road America. A great drive from him, and Patero, it's just dropping out for a second there with connection, but Calver wins the race. What a great drive from him. He applied the pressure on Patero, did not give up, and in the end, Patero drops to second. Pratt's going to be on the podium with them. And further behind, by the way, Reece Bartlett is going to win in the AM class, despite being absolutely smacked at turn 1 by Ian Knox coming firing down the inside. Knox still finishes 4th. Bartlett somehow finishes in 6th, and he wins in the AM class here today. It's not a good day for Parker Enquist in the AM Championship, and Eric Orchin's already crossed the line in 12th. He'll remain the championship leader, but it's Reece Bartlett who takes a very nice win indeed in the AM class. After
Absolutely being chastised. Oh, the irony by me and the fact that he caused it all. Jack's got no front bumper. That's never good. After being accused of literally causing the carnage, he then wins the AMs. I'm so sorry, Reece. Please don't DM me. I do deeply apologise that I just got that wrong. You and Knox look like you had the same colour car, and well, yeah, that was it. They do. That's the problem, and that's where I got confused. And I thought it was him, and it wasn't. It was the other one. So there we go.
Yeah, indeed. Well, there we go. Final few drivers still yet to come across the line at the moment. Garrett Kinney next to round out the top 10. Stephen Laird as well. He was the AM winner in the first race, on the podium again here, so we're getting the most points out of anybody, I think. Bartlett's going so many in this second race that that slightly draws into question, but I don't think so. I think Laird would have the most, but unfortunately Laird hasn't been at all the rounds this season. In fact, I think he's only been at 2, maybe. So, yeah, he's not really a factor in as far as the championship is concerned. But there he goes, 11th place. Unfortunately for so many in that race, they got really all caught up in the opening lap incident, and that is a shame. But it's Mark Calver who takes the victory, 2.7 seconds in front of Joey Patero in the end. Andy Pratt finishes third, with Ian Knox next in line, just ahead of Nicholas Green. And then the AM winner, Rhys Bartlett. Jack Aston finishes 7th, ahead of Alistair Clark, Matt Warner and Garrett Kinney. Stephen Laird, the last driver on the lead lap. Eric Orchin, your own Wolf, and Tim Wybrow got 1 lap down. Parker Enquist never returned to the circuit again after that opening lap crash. So that's just about it for this round of the championship here from Road America. What a round it was as well. Thoroughly enjoyable, I've got to say, round of the championship. But yeah, Mark Calver with a double victory and so close to a brilliant Tommy Patero win. He was so close to holding on for a long time there against someone who was a lot quicker than him.
Yeah, Patero did amazingly. Dude, we cannot even remotely fault Patero, but it was just one mistake. Literally just the one that cost him on that final lap, and well, that was the end of it. And you know, he went through and done and dusted. But yeah, he just couldn't quite get it back here for Patero. This is where it went wrong. But you see him coming into 5, and he just got that. I'm going to go back a little bit because I do want to kind of just break this down for 2 seconds. But you can see him coming into 5 now, and scarily, I suppose, in a way, he's hit his breaking point there and then just couldn't quite get the car stopped. He just couldn't quite hold on to it. He had everything in the right direction, and he just couldn't pull it back to the apex. And then that was it then, and it was a straight drag race up into 6 and through 7. And Calver did what he did to him, I believe, the same thing in race number 1. He controlled the situation and then sweep round the outside of turn 7, and Patero had nothing. The only way Patero was going to try and combat that is just let the car run and bounce off the side of Calver. But other than that, there was nothing Patero going to do. But I think it was the same. I think it was deja vu for race number 1.
Well, it was a shame for Patero, but drove really well and extended his championship lead nevertheless. And we shouldn't take anything away from Mark Calver, who has done a very good job here today to come through the field, especially in race number 2, gain 14 places, avoid the carnage of lap 1, and go back to back. We don't see very many drivers winning 2 races in one day because of the full reverse grid. But Mark Calver has just done exactly that in that dramatic finish here at Road America. Hope that finish has encouraged you to come back next week. We'll be back racing from the Hungaroring in the rain. There's going to be a lot of drama in that race as well. 7 days' time, same place as where we started here. This has been the Jack Aston Racing League and the Novice Racers Ferrari Challenge here from Road America. We'll be back in 7 days' time with the penultimate round of the penultimate points paying round anyway of this championship in 7 days' time. I've been Ewan Leary alongside James Parfitt. Until we see you next week at the Hungaroring, it's goodbye for now.